afternoon, the 5:30 agenda review session will begin now, followed immediately by the city council meeting of February 21st, 2024. We have approval of minutes, we have ordinances on second reading, we have ordinance number 1 and ordinance 2, authorize the granting of right of way and Sky Beach area easement agreement to the local Johnson Hospital. Number 2, an ordinance 2, amendments of the revised general ordinances of the city of Brunswick. This is handicap parking service for handicapped persons. Number 3, ordinance 2, amendments of the revised general ordinances of the city of New Brunswick. This is related to site plan review and minor site plan. 4, an ordinance 2, amendments of the revised general ordinances of the city of New Brunswick. This is in reference to cannabis licensing and regulation. Number 5, an ordinance authorizing and ratifying the acquisition of certain abandoned properties by the Society of Flower and Lorraine. Then we have ordinances of first reading. An ordinance to amend and supplement the revised general ordinances of the city of New Brunswick. This is in reference to traffic control signals. And number 2, an ordinance to adopt a redevelopment plan for the current redevelopment plan area in the city of New Brunswick. We have resolutions 1 to 21. Number 1, approve agenda amendment. 2, approve payroll. 3, authorize refund for redeemed tax sales certificates. 4, authorize application, acceptance, and execution of grant agreement for 2024 for the police department with the New Jersey Department of Law and Public Safety. 5, professional service agreement with McManimon, Scotland, and Baldwin, LLC. 6, approve Title 39 agreement between Roberto Mercado and the city of New Brunswick. 7, approve amendment of resolution 052319 with Entirely Smart Stage LLC. 8, approve amendment of resolution 082276 with Underground Utilities Corporation. 9, approve request for street closing requested by Our Lady of Mount Carmel, Roman Catholic Church. 10, resolution providing for the combination of certain issues of sewer utility funds of the city of New Brunswick. 11, resolution providing for the combination of certain issues of general improvement bonds of the city of New Brunswick. 12, resolution determining the form and other details of 18,784 general obligation bonds. 13, authorize refund to minority at rent in the amount of $7,433.32. 11, approve amendment of resolution 022430. Recent new dates and approve relaxation of the city mayor's orders requested by Earl Company. 15, amend resolution R062355 to receive approval of renewal for Mark Daniels Hospitality LLC. 16, approve amendment of resolution R012279 with Roberts Engineering Group LLC. 17, approve amendment of resolution 022421 with European Eaton Analytical LLC. 18, approve a water contract with Accurate Language Services LLC, with Elsa Gonzalez doing business as a SAC of Spanish Interpreters LLC. 19, application and acceptance of fiscal year 2024 local recreation improvement grant. 20, approve amendment of resolution 052350 with Sharpener Property Services. And 21, approve amendment of resolution 052343 with Consulting and Municipal Engineers doing business as CME Associates. Then we have items for discussion by council, then days to remember, city council agenda review session. The next one will be Wednesday, March 6th, 2024 at 5:30, immediately following the city council meeting. At this time, the meeting is called to order.
Councilmember Castañeda.
Here.
Councilmember Ferguson is absent. Councilmember Fleming.
Here.
Councilmember Gaskins. Here. Councilmember Socorro Ludwig. Here. Council Vice President Anderson.
Here.
Council President Escobar.
Here. Please be advised that the notice requirements of the Open Public Meeting Act has been complied with and satisfied, in that the annual notice, which gave sufficient notice of the time and place and conduct of all public meetings of the Municipal Council of the City of New Brunswick, has been filed with the city clerk, has been placed on an appropriate bulletin board in City Hall, and has been transmitted to the official newspaper for the City of New Brunswick, namely the Home News Tribune.
I just want to do a quick reading. Says, after the Egyptian, the Indian, the Greek, and the Roman, the Negro is sort of a seventh son, born of a veil, gifted with a second sight in this American world, a world which yields him no true self or consciousness, but only lets him see himself through the revelation of the other world, is a peculiar sensation, this double consciousness, this sense of always looking at oneself through the eyes of others, measuring one by the tape of a world that, in amused attempt and pity, one never feels his two-ness, an American, a Negro, two thoughts, two unreconciled strivings, two warring ideals in one dark body, whose dogged strength keeps them from being torn asunder. And this is written by W.E.B. Du Bois.
Thank you, Councilman.
Councilmember Castañeda.
Yes.
Councilmember Fleming.
Yes.
Councilmember Gaskins. Yes. Councilmember Socorro Ludwig.
Yes.
Council Vice President Anderson.
Yes.
Council President Escobar.
Yes. Madam Clerk, has the correspondence been directed to the appropriate departments?
Yes, Madam President, the correspondence received by the City Clerk's office was forwarded to the appropriate departments for further action.
Thank you. We're going into ordinances for discussion on second reading. We have number one, an ordinance to authorize the granting of a right-of-way and Skybridge aerial easement agreement to Robert Johnson University Hospital, Inc. and RWJ Property Holding Corporation over, on, and across the portion of the city's right-of-way known as Somerset Street and Little Albany Street. This is in reference to Rutgers Cancer Institute of New Jersey, Block 51, Lot 2.01, Somerset Street, and Block 24.01, Lot 101, Little Albany Street. Do any of my fellow council members have any questions or any comments on this specific ordinance? Mr. Shabby, can you give us an overview of what are we doing with this ordinance, please?
This is an ordinance which basically authorizes an aerial easement over the portions of Somerset and Little Albany Street for purposes of the construction of the walkway, or walkover, if you will. It's a perpetual easement. The owners of the buildings will maintain it in perpetuity, and we just simply have to give our approval for it to go over a city public right away.
Thank you. We are preparing now to open the public hearing on the ordinance only. You have up to 5 minutes per person. One time up, any member of the public wishes to talk to the council on this specific ordinance, please approach the council.
Good evening, Council. Charlie Prattville, Brunswick today. I just want to clarify, this has already been constructed, right? This is all, it's already, it's already there, right?
Mr. Shabby.
I believe it is there. I don't know if it's completed as of yet, but the process.
Yeah, it's been there for some time, many months, if not a year by now. Maybe
Your question?
Maybe half a year. I guess that my point is, why wasn't this done before it was built instead of after? Because obviously at this point, council doesn't have any leverage to say, well, don't do it that way, or make sure you do it this way. You know, the terms are already kind of finalized, so to speak, right?
Mr. Shabby, do you?
Well, it was approved by the planning board, it's been vetted by the Department of Engineering, the legal description has been reviewed. In concept, it's been approved. This is just a formality so that the actual easement agreement can be filed and recorded.
That's all on this one. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, yes, Daniel Morris, Somerset Street. Well, due to where I just heard you announce saying it's not properly completed yet, my concern is due to where, do we have to do with anything with the roads being closed off again to continue doing this work, due to where I find that was a big issue, closing that part of the road off due to where people had to sit there and wait 20 minutes to get to the ER, over 20 minutes to get to their cancer treatment. So my question is, after you saying that you're not sure if it's properly finished yet, but my concerns is, will the road need to be closed again for any other part of this being finished?
Mr. Valenti?
The Somerset Street will have similar closures, short-term closures throughout until the project is completed for various reasons. One may be finishing the underside of the walkways, there's gonna be repavement done, sidewalks are gonna be done around the campus. So it's an ongoing major $750 million construction site. There's always gonna be some inconveniences. But the hospital is managing all that. None of these roads are closed without the hospital's knowledge and permission, just so you know.
Thank you.
Well, like I said, with you saying that due to where I hope then maybe you would choose better off with weekends due to where what? I have videos and I've had issues due to, like I said, with people yelling, sitting in there in their vehicles, 20 minutes trying to get to the ER, and due to where I was in a vehicle as well with my mom, over 20 minutes trying to get the cancer. So like I said, I hope you really schedule this a better way. Think about the emergent people due to where, what, more planning. And I have a record of videos to prove what my situation is. So, like I said, I hope you can deal with that a little better where think of people with emergencies. Thank you.
Anybody else from the public? Seeing none,
Move the ordinance.
second.
Councilmember Castaneda.
Yes?
Councilmember Fleming.
Yes.
Councilmember Gaskins.
Yes.
Councilmember Secor Ludwig.
Yes.
Council Vice President Anderson.
Yes.
Council President Escobar.
Yes. Then we have ordinance 022402, the ordinance to amend and supplement the revised general ordinances of the city of Brunswick, Title 10, Vehicles and Traffic, Chapter 10.20, handicap parking zones for handicap. We are adding 20 Maple Street, apartment 1A, and 264 Sanford Street. Do any of my council members, colleagues have any questions about these specific ordinance? Any member of the public who wishes to address the council on this ordinance only, you have up to 5 minutes, you may come up to the microphone. Seeing none,
Move the ordinance.
Second.
roll call.
Councilmember Castaneda.
Yes.
Councilmember Fleming.
Yes.
Councilmember Gaskins.
Yes.
Councilmember Secor Ludwig.
Yes.
Council Vice President Anderson.
Yes.
Council President Escobar.
Yes. We have ordinance 022403, an ordinance to amend and supplement the revised general ordinances of the city of New Brunswick, Title 16, Land Development Code, Chapter 16.24, Site Plan Review, Section 1624.80, minor site plan. This is in reference to smoking lounges and nightclubs. Before I take any questions, any comments, Mr. Dominguez, can you give an overview, please, of the specific ordinance?
Certainly, thank you, Council President. This ordinance seeks to address two issues of business types that we had pressure from last year of interest in opening up in the city. Not so much this year, but this started last year when we were making these actions. Smoking lounges and nightclubs are both technically permitted depending on certain zones and criteria and state law. But they can also be nuisances depending on where they're located and how they may or may not affect the neighboring properties. What this seeks to do is that instead of being able to occupy a facility through an administrative permit, depending on if they comply with everything, it would require that these types of uses would need to go through at least a minor site plan review to address specific criteria that we are looking to have added to the land development code, and so the minor site plan committee could vote on those applications provided that they address the specific criteria outlined in the draft, in the ordinance on for consideration.
Thank you. Any questions from my fellow council members? At this time, any member of the public who wishes to address the council on this specific ordinance, you have up to 5 minutes. Come up to the microphone.
Hi, yes, well, I'll be back up again for number 4 due to I see that has a connection to it. But wow, when you say smoking lounges, due to I know this was an issue at a few clubs down here on George Street in regards to George Street being closed due to where, wow, I know marijuana's legal due to where the issue was with outdoor dining where some people did not want their family members being sat next to smoking marijuana. So please, can you tell me, like I said, which way? Okay, marijuana is legal to smoke, but like I said, is it legal to smoke in businesses or in front of certain businesses?
Are you talking for the cannabis, that's something different, this is smoking, Mr. Dominguez?
No, I meant other clubs to where, for example, it wasn't me, you had a couple of people that was commenting, but I'm pretty sure you all saw, it was on Mr. Cradaville's group, due to where people posting by Harvest Moon or Tavern, due to where what? They didn't want to be dealing with the smell, bringing their kids over to dinner, dealing with the smelling of marijuana.
Yes, I understand, Ms. Moore, I just want to see if this ordinance has anything to do with that.
To clarify, in our cannabis ordinance and our regulatory framework, we prohibited cannabis smoking lounges back when we did that 2 or 3 years ago. As far as outside smoking of cannabis, I'm not sure how that's regulated, but it's not unaffected by this.
This ordinance doesn't have anything.
No, this is for sort of like a cigar or hookah lounge or something like that, tobacco-based, not cannabis, and only technically indoors, not outside.
Well, okay, honestly, I say you should have written that on in the order that way you success that due to where, to really cover what's gonna be going on. But like I said, I'll be commenting on the next one too, thank you.
Anybody else, none?
Move the ordinance. Second. Councilmember Castaneda.
Yes.
Councilmember Fleming.
Yes.
Councilmember Gaskins. Yes. Councilmember Socorro Ludwig.
Yes.
Council Vice President Anderson.
Yes.
Council President Escobar.
Yes. Then we have ordinance 022405, it's an ordinance to supplement the revised general ordinances of the city of Brunswick, Title 5, business licensing and regulation, cannabis licensing and regulation. This is in reference to section 5.09.040, number and location of permits. Mr. Dominguez, again, if you could give us an overview about this and to ensure that we understand what it is that we're doing with this specific ordinance, please.
Certainly. Thank you, Council President. So you may recall a couple of months back, we revamped the cannabis ordinance in general for intake of applications and process. So this is sort of a lagging piece of that revamping of the ordinance and our regulatory framework for cannabis. We've seen that a lot of municipalities have had great success in terms of creating entrepreneurship, rateables, reactivating industrial facilities through allowing and uncapping non-retail cannabis establishments. So this doesn't apply to anything retail. This is only for cultivation, manufacturing, processing, distribution, wholesaling, what have you. Basically things you would do inside of a box industrial building. This doesn't expand the footprint of the area that we have as the overlay zone for cannabis non-retail. It's about half of the industrial area around Jersey Ave, but it would uncap the number of entities that could do those businesses. Right now we have a cap of 4 in aggregate across all 5 of those licenses. We awarded endorsements to those. None of those have rolled out for various reasons. But again, seeing that many municipalities have had great success, again, in terms of entrepreneurship, rateables, and activating old, somewhat derelict industrial properties, we believe that uncapping it and giving greater flexibility for smaller scale entities who want to do this, and through our new vetting process and application process and our cannabis board, might be able to set up their business in those facilities to do so.
Thank you. Any questions for the public?
Well, like I said, once again, like I said, there's nothing towards me. I smell it walking through there, it doesn't bother me, but like I said, for 3 and 4, I just think especially due to where you plan on doing the redevelopment downtown, closing the road off again, due to where I think it's time to work out a situation, like I said, because that was one of the main reasons why outdoor dining wasn't so good. That was because the parking was too high, and I told you where I'm pretty sure you saw the comments on Facebook due to where people are saying due to where they don't want their family, their children next to someone smoking marijuana. So like I said, it doesn't affect me, but I'm just saying, looking out for what other people were speaking to me. So I just hope things can be worked out for, like I said, the outdoor dining and people that don't feel comfortable being around marijuana being smoked. Thank you.
Anybody else from the public?
Mr. Shannon,
Please.
cigarette smoking, marijuana smoking,
Marijuana,
I thought it was illegal.
marijuana smoking is specifically illegal under the state statute in a public place. Technically, you're supposed to only smoke marijuana on private property in your own home. As far as this smoking something else may go, there is the state Smoke-Free Air Act, which provides for certain regulations in that regard as well.
Yeah. I just wanted to say again that in this specific ordinance is not for retail, it's just for distribution and production, so it's a little bit different. Yes, Mr. Bennett.
Yes, Charlie Pratt, New Brunswick today. I want to follow up on some of Mr. Dominguez's remarks. He mentioned that, the existing plans for, cultivation facilities in New Brunswick have all not worked out so far. I was curious if he could elaborate or update us on, the reasons. Like specifically 131 Jersey is the only one I know of. But I know the housing authority selected them, and that was one potential use. They weren't necessarily going to do it. But is there any insight into why the existing, why we haven't had any takers on the licenses?
I could ask that question pertaining to this ordinance. It's kind of like we don't cap it, so I'm going to allow it just because of that. We don't cap the number of licenses and see why if we are. Where are we? An update. Mr. Dominguez.
Certainly. So 131 is supposedly, potentially the site of 2 or 3, most likely 2. I don't think the general consensus is to say we're not allowed 3 cannabis vendors at the same location. So that is holding up basically half of those endorsements. Another one was set to utilize the space at 703, 711 Jersey Avenue, which was then purchased by someone else for the trucking container storage facility, and they leveled that place, and so they no longer can utilize that. I haven't heard from them since we awarded their endorsement. And there was another entity that was going to do delivery out of what was the Brookside Deli, but given how the CRC laid out the regulations for what delivery is allowed to do in the state, that business model that they were looking at may not be viable anymore, and so it's unlikely that they are going to actually ever do anything with that endorsement that we gave them for delivery out of that site. And that's basically the story.
Thank you, that's all I have.
Thanks. Anybody else? See none?
Move the ordinance. Second. Councilmember Castaneda.
Yes.
Councilmember Fleming.
Yes.
Councilmember Gaskin. Yes. Councilmember Secor Ludwig. Yes. Council Vice President Anderson.
Yes.
Council President Escobar.
Yes. Then we have ordinance 02406, it's an ordinance authorizing and ratifying the acquisition of certain abandoned properties in accordance with the Abandoned Property Rehabilitation Act by the exercise of the power of eminent domain. Any questions? Council members? Any questions from the public? If you have any questions, you would please come up to the microphone. You have up to 2 minutes.
Charlie Pratt, New Brunswick today. So this is allowing eminent domain for 133 Jones and 269 Towers.
Okay.
And those are both on the abandoned properties list already. Can I ask how many other properties are on that list?
So Dominguez, do we have that number?
Approximately.
Off the top of my head, no, I think it's, if we include vacant properties that aren't statutorily abandoned, it's probably about a dozen, maybe 15 tops. I think it's 10 to 12 though.
Thanks.
Okay, and has the city ever done this before with the abandoned properties, gone this far?
Mr. Dominguez.
I believe it may or may not have been before my time. It may have been under Director Patterson, but I believe that the city conveyed a property or two to CAPC for rehabilitation circa 2019, plus or minus a year.
Thank you.
Yeah, I guess that gets to my next question. What is the plan for these properties if you do, will the city be acquiring them or facilitating somebody else acquiring them? Are there specific parties involved?
Do we have any plans, Mr. Dominguez, at this time?
The plan based on other resolutions or ordinances that we've adopted in the past months is that 269 would be conveyed to a redeveloper to rehabilitate the two-family house. I believe Mercado generally would be understood as the developer. I believe Mr. Craddock knows who that is. And for 133 Jones, currently the property's been demolished, given its status after the fire, and we would look to convey that to someone who would redevelop that into productive use into another single-family house there, probably.
And I guess any timeline for that?
Working on it, we'll let you know. Do you have a timeline?
I think the conveyance for 269 Powers would be very quickly, on the order of a couple of months, hopefully. I'm not sure on the timeline for 133 Jones.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Seeing none? Move the ordinance.
Councilmember Castaneda?
Yes.
Councilmember Fleming?
Yes.
Councilmember Gaskins?
Yes.
Councilmember Secor Ludwig?
Yes.
Council Vice President Anderson?
Yes.
Council President Escobar?
Yes. Then we have ordinances on the first reading. We have ordinance 022407. It's an ordinance to amend and supplement the revised general ordinances of the city of New Brunswick, Title 10, because of traffic. This is traffic control signals. We are adding Byron Street, French, and Prospect Street, traffic signal November 11, 2022, and the timing stated directed November 11, 2022. And Jersey Avenue on Hill, traffic signal plan, July 26, 2022, and time is scheduled directed, July 26, 2022.
I move the ordinance setting down March 6, 2024 at 5:30, same date to be advertised.
Councilmember Castaneda?
Yes.
Councilmember Fleming?
Yes.
Councilmember Gaskins?
Yes.
Councilmember Secor Ludwig?
Yes.
Council Vice President Anderson?
Yes.
Council President Escobar?
Yes. Then we have ordinance 022408, an ordinance to adopt the redevelopment plan for the current redevelopment plan area in the city of New Brunswick.
I move the ordinance setting down March 6, 2024 at 5:30 p.m. and date to be advertised.
Second.
Councilmember Castaneda?
Abstain?
Duly noted. Councilmember Fleming?
Yes.
Councilmember Gaskins?
Yes.
Councilmember Secor Ludwig?
Yes.
Council Vice President Anderson?
Yes.
Council President Escobar?
Yes. At this time, we're going into the resolutions. We have resolutions 1 to 21. Do any of my fellow council members have any questions or any comments on the resolutions? I would ask Mr. Goldbrand if you could just, specific to resolution 10, 11, and 12, if you could give an overview, because I know those are very important resolutions that we have.
Yes, so Council President, these are all transactional resolutions related to ordinances that were pre-approved by the city. I've actually asked our bond counsel here tonight to give a quick explanation of those three floors.
Good evening, Council President, Council members. My name is Matt Jessup from McMahon, Scotland and Bowman. We are your bond counsel, and real quickly, since we don't get to appear before you very often, just to note that it's a privilege to serve the city, and we really appreciate that opportunity. As Rich just mentioned, you have three resolutions before you tonight that in the aggregate authorize the issuance of $18.78 million of bonds. Those bonds fund general capital projects, water utility projects, and sewer utility projects. All of those bonds are paying off one-year bond anticipation notes that are already outstanding. So none of this is new debt that is being taken on. It is currently in short-term debt maturing each year. And this is the opportunity in the moment to permanently finance it, pay it off over a multi-year period. For the general capital, you'll have it paid off by 2037. For the water and sewer utility, you'll have it paid off by 2042, all of which match the average useful lives of the improvements being financed. We anticipate the interest rate to be about 3.45% plus or minus. The sale will be conducted competitively on April 10th. So we'll know on that date through a competitive process exactly what that interest rate is. That is a locked-in fixed interest rate for the life of the bonds.
Thank you so much for the explanation. Appreciate
Certainly.
it. Any questions before we go on? Okay, so at this time, we are preparing to open the meeting to public comment on the resolutions only. We have up to 5 minutes, one time up. Any member of the public wishes to address the council on the resolutions only, please come forward.
Good evening once again, Charlie Cradville. I'll start with the item for McManaman Scotland Endowment, number 5, at the top of page 3. I was curious what kinds of matters these are.
Mr. Shannon.
That's exactly the type of matter we just had with respect to the ordinance for eminent domain. They are outside counsel who handle all of our condemnation, the properties that are on the abandoned properties list, if you will. They assist my department with that particular process.
So it sounds like they've had this contract for
They
some time.
have since we've instituted the ordinance and taken a proactive approach with respect to these types of properties.
Okay, and can I ask how this newest 12-month contract was awarded? Was it competitively bid, or is this, was anybody else in the mix?
The RFP, we go out and we request proposals.
Request for proposals, and how many proposals came in?
Oh, I don't know off the top of my head, Mr. Crabtree. There might have been 1 or 2.
I'll follow up. I do also appreciate the explanation on the financial stuff. That answers some of my questions, so I can move on to number 15 on page 4. This is the liquor license rescinding approval. Can you tell me why you're rescinding it and what the status of this license is?
To the best of my knowledge, it's just a minor amendment that needs to be addressed, and that's why it needed to be rescinded, but I would ask our city clerk, Sullivan, to give an explanation.
Council President, this liquor license was approved by the city council last year, but the ABC is now requiring to do a special ruling due to them being inactive for the past 2 years.
Got it. And any plans that we know of for it to be used, or it's just going to continue to be dormant?
It's currently in the pocket.
Okay. Thanks. I would need to move on to 17. This is a water utility contract for testing, and I wanted to ask if this company has done right by the water utility, or if this is the first time they're working with us.
Mr. Wallace.
We've used this company for a couple of years.
And I see a few other companies named in here as well. And I wanted to ask, have any of these companies not done right by the city specifically in terms of, have we incurred any violations as a result of the testing companies not doing the tests or not turning them around quick enough? I know that's been an issue, and so I see like Eurofin's Eaton Analytical, as well as Analytical Services Inc., Garden State Laboratories Inc., and Pace Analytical Services. I want to ask, are any of these companies ones that didn't do, that caused us to incur violations?
Mr. Wallace,
I guess the best answer would be that, yes, there are instances where issues with the lab incurred violations.
Okay, and I guess the question would be then why would we continue to use those labs if they cause us to incur violations?
Council President, I think Mr. Crowder should find out that the process for testing as it relates to contaminants and water treatment are very level and more than just a simple send a sample back. So I think Mr. Wallace's answer is probably the most comprehensive, and I'm not quite sure I'll satisfy.
Okay, well, I think this raises a lot of questions. I know this is just the council approving some funding for contracts, but, gosh, I would hope that, we would be, learning from past mistakes. If there were violations, we would, change course, maybe change vendors too, but something would be done, and I want to make sure something's
I'm
being
pretty
done.
sure, Mr. Crandall, that our staff are more than competent enough to determine that, and if they are, recommending that these companies we continue to use, is because they have done their bit, and they're competent enough to let us, to make that decision. So I trust in the competency, and I trust that they make the best judgment for the city.
I appreciate that. May I ask, was the council aware of the violations?
I'm not gonna answer that question at this time, so if you could just continue, please, I would appreciate
Okay.
it.
Well, I think that's the last
Thank you.
one.
Time is up. Thank you. Anybody else on the resolutions? Only?
Yes, I would just like to start on 19. That's where, just tell me what type of recreation that this $100,000 grant will go to.
This is a grant that the city is planning to apply for, and this is specific, to the best of my knowledge, is to do some improvement to Memorial Stadium. So,
Only for Memorial Stadium.
yes.
Well-
I could have more information if you want. I could ask Mr. Wilbur to give us more if you wish to hear more information about it.
Okay, yes, I would like to, I know that needs plenty of work up there, maybe the bathrooms due to where what I show the videos, how disgusting it is, and due to where safety issues with the steps, with the concrete falling apart. So yes, I would like to hear, what's to be done.
Yeah, Council President, you're correct, this Memorial Stadium is going to use as part of a comprehensive plan to rehabilitate the city, including plumbing issues in the bathrooms and other issues.
Well, okay, great to hear, because like I said, as I posted before going to games, it was horrible, many of the ladies' room and all. And then my other one is that's for, with the grant, with the police department, with texting.
Distracted driver? A distracted driver?
For? Please, why do I keep seeing the police department giving grants to do things? What, drinking and driving, texting and driving due to it? Wow. I see how your police officers are breaking the law. You guys maybe make excuses for them. What, how many officers do I see riding around texting and driving? But like I said, well, please, for you to keep receiving money and don't see New Brunswick Police Department doing anything regards to what, drinking and driving or ticket driving, well, come on. If they make the law, believe me, they're the first ones that need to follow the law. If you were sworn in to do to be under the law, please, how do they get a chance to break the law? Is that because why? Three of you council members up there keep making excuses for New Brunswick Police Department, but wow, let's see with all this, where's all this money going? Because like I said, due to as many drunk drivers as we have, many is what, people on cell phones due to where, what? Do I see anything and others, anything being done? No. So like I said, please tell me, where's all this money going to?
Ms. Daniel, if you're applying for this grant, I will get the grants because we're doing a good job. The state will not give us the grant if we're not doing the job that we're supposed to be doing. These grants have specifications, have some outcomes that we have to do. And, it's your opinion. I'm not gonna debate your opinion,
Oh,
because as you.
It's not my opinion due to where what? I would say on
I'm not gonna debate with you.
I will say on my Facebook page due to where what, a woman with one of my friends, due to her texting on the phone, put the vehicle in the wrong gear, pow, hit two parked cars. Did New Brunswick take action at her? No, they didn't.
Again, I appreciate your comment, but.
What I speak, I provide evidence for due to where what? Do I have the videos up there, everybody can see? What, the cell phone, lady was on the cell phone? What, backed up and pow, hit a car in the driveway, hit another parked car? I do not see New Brunswick Police Department doing their jobs.
Thank you. I think differently, but thank you for your comment. And just in case, for this specific grant that they are applying, the distracted driving, it's a campaign that is done in April, during the month of April. And it has brought forth not just to give tickets out, but educating the community in how to avoid driving while distracted, texting, or doing something else. Lieutenant Hoover, would you like to say something?
I could not have said it better than you did. Carlos Ramirez reporting from New Brunswick today. Just wanted to ask about number 6, if you could explain to me this agreement between Mr. Mercado and the city. I looked up the location, looks like an empty lot. I just was curious what this is.
Mr. Dominguez.
Sure. Thank you, Council President. So, Title 39 agreement is an agreement that we require as part of pretty much any approval for a site plan, approved site plan as a part of the resolution compliance package. It allows the city's police department to enforce vehicle and parking infractions on private property. Title 39, I think, is the state law that governs that sort of stuff, and this allows us to go on. The site 219 Redmond was approved sometime last year by our zoning board for, I believe, 8 apartments.
Okay.
Okay,
that's
so,
prior, getting ready for that application that you need.
okay, so if I understand correctly, it just allows for police to go in there and issue citations if
Yes.
somebody parks on the grass or whatever.
Because it's private.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's once they build the apartment, so they will still do it, it's a contract that they have.
All right, great, thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else on the resolutions? Hearing none?
Move the resolutions.
Second.
Councilmember Castaneda.
Yes.
Councilmember Fleming.
Yes.
Councilmember Gaskin. Councilmember Socorro Ludwig. Council Vice President Anderson.
Yes.
Council President Escobar.
Yes, and as we're getting ready to open the floor for public comment, we just want to give a few updates or comments related to previous questions or comments made at the council meeting. Mr. Julius, if you could address, please, there was a question at the last meeting regarding the salary for the chief of police.
Yes, Council President, sorry, I don't have that number.
I have the number.
You have the number, thank
So
you.
there was a question related to that, so the salary for the chief of police of Brunswick is $197,734 a year. And then the second item that I want to follow up with is there were some allegations, comments, in terms of the New Brunswick fire director. So I would like Mr. Julius to please give us some insight onto this matter.
Yes, Council President, the fire director was involved in a motor vehicle crash involving a city vehicle. Currently, the fire director is not permitted to operate a city vehicle.
Thank you. Then, Mr. Kirkland, I needed to follow up on the harm reduction partnership with the city. So the city continues to work, it's kind of an informal partnership with them. They have been providing events sponsored by the city, addiction services, media receptacles. They have been doing outreach through Code Blue at the Dignity Center, and they have a regular presence now at the Day Center, and many other things that they have done. The city will continue to coordinate and man the Code Blue, since harm reduction expertise is in addiction and not necessarily in emergency shelter. Then there was a question about Nurses Edition 0 time. We did follow up on that. Mr. Bergman,
Sure.
you could just give an update on that, please?
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Madam President. There was one meeting held in 2022 regarding the Vision Zero initiative, which was organized by the county. It was held here in the city of New Brunswick. There hasn't been any subsequent meetings scheduled or any other developments since then. But yes, one meeting was held and one representative from the city, Brandon Goldberg, was in attendance. But no other action since that one meeting.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Any member of the council wishes to address any matters before we go into the public comment section? Okay, so at this time, we are preparing to open the meeting for public comments for up to 5 minutes per person, one time up. Any member of the public wishes to speak during the public comment portion of the meeting, please approach.
Hi, yes, Danielle Moore, like I said, as usual, it's amazing how my questions never get answered, only others get answered. But that's okay, I already know what type of people that I'm working with, so this is Lord. But I'm gonna really speak on matters, like I said, due to where, New Brunswick putting me in handcuffs, due to where, for what? I did not hit that young lady, I stood there and I wasn't gonna do anything. While for New Brunswick, putting me in handcuffs, treating me like a crime, and then say, wow, I resisted arrest, my lawyer requesting all video cameras. Well, what, I had one arm behind my back. Gonna say, oh, tell me stop resisting arrest. But yeah, and I want you to see on camera, due to where what, like I said, my neck and arm was already injured where I had surgery, due to where what, from the MRI results and everything, wow, with them swinging my arm around, tearing. If you're wondering why my arm is like this, due to where, yes, I did have to get a steroid injection for now to take the swelling down. I have the MRIs due to where the injuries from my shoulder, while treating me like I was a damn criminal, and what I was a victim both times. But like I said, it's all good. I'm not worried about it, believe me. Just like New Brunswick Police Department didn't handle the matter from what, me having a video on someone before. Who handled it? Like I said, the man up above, I will get justice regardless whether you guys like it or not. And like I said, I don't care. I have people trying to make me look bad. Do you think I care? Like I said, as long as the man up above knows that I'm doing the right thing, I'm good to go. And one way to prove to you, wow, after receiving over $400,000 in cash from my back and neck injury and shoulder, wow, did money take away the pain? Out of me really doing the right thing, out of the past year and a half, accepting what the Lord touched me to do. Wow, do you see me allowed to sit down now? And I didn't even have to get my nerves burned this year. So like I said, God is good to me, and like I said, justice will be served to all the devils that do to where keep trying to make me look bad, due to where this only started with, wow, me just helping others, trying to save people, until the real devil leader got in that chair, Mr. Loveland got out of here. Wow, I'm a total different person. Then I would like to speak on, wow, horrible job with New Brunswick Police Department again, letting Christian Rodriguez Ramirez out February 9th due to where he still has to go to court due to where New Brunswick, they never showed any of the evidence. What? Then Middlesex County dropped all the charges because they didn't turn the evidence in? Wow, 2 days later, 4 days ago, what, him added with the police over there on French Street again? Why don't you lock up real damn criminals, the ones who are doing crime? It's heartbreaking what you did to Mr. Paul Dean, and I explained to you, sure, I used to speak about him on Jones Avenue, but what did I tell you? Due to where the Lord has me watching over him, because he has heart trouble now, and like I said, how many times have I saved him? 3 times. Well, I kept telling you due to her doing videos, but saying that's the homeless people. Is the police going over there to get them to stop robbing that man? Where I still have videos of? You ought to be ashamed of yourself what you did to Mr. Paul Dean. And I told you, he wasn't the one dealing with the garbage because he can't lean over since he had heart surgery. And wow, with him being out on there, I'm not going to say his business, but when him being away, wow, it broke into his house again. What do you, like I said, it's a setup for what? The city to steal his house? Like I said, go after the real criminals. But like I said, New Brunswick is going to definitely pay a price due to where tearing my arm, where like I said, I pray I don't have to go through the surgery to repair my arm due to where, what, because Alexander Yunez, badge 326, 9-car 916, who was already written up, you never did answer the question with Mr. Cradwell. What is he still working there for? He was suspended for, what, 60 days? What is he still working? So wow, is he going to cost you a lot of money? Most certainly he will, due to where, like I said, with results we're saying, wow, New Brunswick injuring my shoulder. And like I said, I do not start it. I thank everyone from New Brunswick who stood up for me, helping me with more information so I can file charges on these people than New Brunswick did. I will say, God bless you all. I love you. Please take care.
The time is up. Mr. Carlin.
Yes, good evening once again. I wanted to ask about Alex Uzunis.
Yes.
Sure, we're saying it right. The officer who was suspended for 60 days last year, according to the Maine Municipal discipline report. Does the council have any comment on this?
The only thing that I would tell you is that Lieutenant, he was the only, in that report on 2023, he was the only officer that is listed as being, he was suspended by 60 days. And so there was an investigation, he was, you know, the personal matter that dealt with it is there, so they took care of the situation. And he was suspended because he didn't follow proper procedure in property things that he should have documented.
Yeah, what kind of property was it?
It doesn't say, the report doesn't say, does it say, because I don't.
I didn't see it.
I mean, they're
Very,
high.
very curious.
So my interest was just to say, you know, the police did do an investigation, he got suspended 60 days, so he was reprimanded, so.
Sure, I mean, we know that. I was hoping to
And
have
I'm
some.
pretty sure,
some
no,
thoughts,
that's what I have to say, and I'm pretty sure that, he was dealt accordingly after those 60 days suspension. I'm pretty sure he got training again, on how to do that part of the job. So that's what I have to say.
Okay, I wanted to ask about the snow emergency. You know, we were awakened in the middle of the night by the police telling people they gotta move their cars. No Nixle alert had been issued.
There were Nixon alerts, there were.
The following morning after I emailed the city.
There's a process, there's a process.
Yes,
taken into-
and the process is the alert should come first, right? The public should be alerted and told where the alternative parking
No,
locations
that's not the
are.
process.
That was not done this time.
That's not the
Every
process.
other time it is. What changed?
It's not the process, if you let me just explain to you, the process is the same, but it's the weather, we don't go by the weather report, so Mr. Julius, if you wanna, give a little bit insight on how those decisions are made. And by the way, there was the Excel alerts, and there were also Facebook.
The following morning.
My pleasure. The ordinance requires that if there is snow cover on the road, that the emergency route be cleared. We track the weather, of course, we get weather reports like everyone else does, but our Department of Public Works fastidiously watches the storm as it comes in. And it's a big deal to open an emergency route. So our police department works closely with our DPW, and they make a decision as the storm arrives. This storm happened to arrive in the early hours of the morning, much heavier than expected. However, we followed the same protocols we always do. And at that hour, it was not typical for people to be informed, but as we noted, the roadway is covered with snow, we have to open up the emergency route.
Right. Now, the critical part of the notification is where the parking authority tells folks that if you're a city resident and you need a place to put your car, you can use their space for free, and they tell you when you have to leave by. That notice didn't come until later in the day, after we all had to be awoken and move our cars, with no assurance that the parking authority would accept us with a free use of the facilities. So I'm just simply saying that before you send out the police to wake people up with megaphones and sirens, use the technology that the city has to alert the public. And frankly, the call should have been made earlier in the night. If you were gonna potentially need the streets open, you should have said, the parking authority is gonna open up the deck. It was the weekend, they could have accommodated it, should have just been done. But I'll move on.
Mr. President, I'm sorry,
because-
several sleep was disrupted, but I'll talk about what protocols follow.
Yeah, that's what I was saying, Mr.
Okay, well,
So thank you.
I'll look into the protocols. The January 9th crash involving a city vehicle, the fire director was driving the deputy chief vehicle. What happened to the director vehicle that he was previously driving? Was that also involved in a crash recently?
Are we allowed to talk about that? That's a personal matter. This is
I mean,
just a
where the
police.
fleet is at any given time, Council President, I'd have to go back and do some research, but I don't understand.
So what is,
I'm sorry, we don't know if the director vehicle was also involved in a crash?
just say what is it that you're referring to?
What is the question, Mr.
Yeah, the question. If we don't
Why
figure out-
did the fire director have what vehicle, what time, I don't know.
Yeah, the fire director was driving the deputy chief vehicle. He normally drives the director vehicle because he's the director. What happened to that vehicle? Was that also involved in a crash?
The deputy director? Or the
The
director's car?
director's original vehicle that he was driving, was that recently involved in a crash as well?
The director has access to all the vehicles in the fleet, Council President. I would have to find out.
Okay, may I ask that we get an update on if there's another vehicle that the fire director was involved in a crash in? Is that, can you get that? Okay. And also the water utility violation, we can add that to the agenda next time too. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Anybody else on the public? Seeing none? Motion to adjourn?
Second.